Welcome to WatchMojo.com. My name is Elliot Cohen. I'm a caterer and cooking instructor, and today I'm going to show you how to cook the perfect steak all on the grill. This is quite a serious steak. It's about a 1 pound steak, a little bit more than 1 inch thick. If you look and see, there's a nice distribution of fat around the meat and also inside the meat. That's what we call marbling. And in cooking, fat means flavor. This steak was aged for about 7 weeks. The aging process adds some tenderness to it, and my butcher, Norman, promised me that this would be the best steak I ever had. Now, a lot of people season their meat before they put it on the grill. That's fine. What I notice is that when I season meat and then put it on a very, very hot grill to sear it, the seasoning burns. And when the seasoning burns, it gets a little bit bitter, and it's just not that great anymore. So what I do now is I grill my steak with just a little bit of olive oil on it, and when I turn it over and it's seared, then I add my favorite Montreal steak spice to it. The steak spice stays fresh, it sits on top of the steak, and it doesn't get burnt by the sear. So that's what we're going to do next. So now I'm going to just brush a little bit of olive oil on this steak. This is an optional phase, and just this splash of olive oil is going to help kickstart the searing process and add a little bit of flavor to our steak. Remember, when you're cooking multiple things on your grill, you want to have a nice brush like this. You want to brush your grill clean. I'm just going to take the steak. Look at that sizzle. I'm going to let this cook for about a minute. I'm going to open the grill and take a look at it. So now I'm going to take a look at this steak. Beautiful, beautiful sear on it. See that there's a little bit of flame there. Be careful with your olive oil. Just put a very, very light amount of olive oil on your steak. Now on a very, very hot grill, you don't necessarily have to put your hood down. You can let the steak sear with the hood up. Then we'll turn the heat down in a couple of minutes, let the steak go through, cook through, and then we can close the hood of the grill. Now I'm going to take my favorite steak spice, Montreal steak spice, very, very generously pour it over the top. You can use whatever you'd like. I'm now going to turn my heat down to medium. Now we're going to let this steak cook through. I'm going to close the hood, and in about 5 minutes I'm going to come back and see how it's doing. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the bottom of this steak. It's very, very nice and seared. So I can do one of two things now. I can lower the heat a little bit more, but I have a second level grill here that's about another 6 inches away from my heat source. So I'm just going to take this steak, place it up here, and let it cook through for a few more minutes. I've cooked 1,000 steaks. I know by touching it like this that it's perfect. You need a lot of practice to be able to do that. So I recommend that you cut into the steak a couple of minutes before you think it's done and take a look at it. If it's too undercooked for you, let it cook another minute or 2, 3, and then cut into it again. And eventually, after you do that 3, 4, 5 times, you will no longer have to cut into the steak. So there's our beautiful rib steak, beautiful seasoning, ready to be consumed.